And we're live. Welcome everybody to another Am I Racist review. This is part 2 of 6. I'm really offering up an Asian perspective and also my thoughts on DEI. Without further ado, let's get right into this clip and then we'll review it. We'll talk about it a little bit and share some thoughts on DEI. And for those of you that are unaware, DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Despite what the statistics say, this country isn't safe for people of color. I've heard it over and over. If only I could walk in their shoes, then I'd really know what they go through. Looks cold out there. Man, I'm hungry. Where can I get food at this hour?
Open 24 hours. Like, people kill me when they say things like that because it's like Subway is open 24 hours for a reason. So that when you're hungry at night and you ain't got no food, you go to Subway.
What happened that night, Jesse?
I went to the Subway and got the order. You have to understand also that it's Chicago in winter. As I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire.
Daily Wire.
And I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire. And I didn't answer. I kept walking, and then I heard Empire. So I turned around and I said, "Did you just say to me?" And I see the attacker masked. That I had said that they were wearing MAGA hats. I never said that. And he said, "This MAGA country," punches me right in the face. So I punched his ass back. And then we started tussling. You know, it was very icy. Fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back. And then I smelled bleach. I know the smell of bleach.
Hit him with the bleach! Hit him with the bleach!
Then it just stopped. And they ran off. And then I looked down and I see that there's a rope around my neck.
You hadn't noticed it before?
No, because it was so fast. I noticed the rope around my neck and I started screaming. And I said, "There's a rope around my neck."
If the attackers are never found, how will you be able to heal?
I don't know. Let's just hope that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not go there yet.
On second thought, I don't really feel like Subway.
All right, let's break that down. Now, obviously that was a satire, and I think the funniest part of that was there's a rope around my neck, and I said, there's a rope around my neck. So again, this is a part 2 of a 6-part series. The first one is linked down below. But really what I want to talk about in DEI is how it encourages victimhood and entitlement. And I think we see that perfectly in this clip, right? Which is absolutely hilarious. And if you've watched the movie, let us know also your thoughts in the comments down below. It is a documentary, it is a comedy, and I think it really highlights the absurdity of some of the DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion policies here. And what I mean when I say that it encourages victimhood and entitlement, you know, the frameworks of DEI really categorize people into either privileged or marginalized. And when you categorize people into these groups, it implies that some individual achievements or failures are primarily due to their identity rather than their personal life choices or efforts or hard work. And the impact on this is the focus on victimhood can really diminish personal accountability. It can foster this sense of entitlement where certain individuals or even entire groups may expect preferential treatment rather than equal opportunity. This undermines the value of hard work, self-improvement, personal responsibility, accountability. And these DEI frameworks often emphasize these privileges versus marginalized based off of identity, based off of a race, gender, social background, color. And this categorization can lead to individuals to perceive themselves as, I'm a victim because I belong to this group. I'm disadvantaged because I'm Asian. And due to these aspects of group identity, this outlook, though I'm sure it's well-meaning, we're not questioning whether this is well-meaning, but it can create this mindset where individuals attribute success or failure based on external circumstances rather than hard work, their own choices, getting up again, time and time again when you fall, your efforts, your actions. And it really reduces the emphasis, which we should continually do as a society. It reduces the emphasis on personal responsibility. When people view their struggles mainly through a lens of systematic barriers or identity-based disadvantages, it can reduce their sense of personal responsibility for overcoming challenges or working through these challenges, learning through these challenges, and growing personally, developing personally. And what it can do also is it can get people entitled, expecting certain preferential treatments by focusing on these disadvantages. I'm disadvantaged, so then you should treat me a certain way. And these DEI frameworks can create cultures of entitlement where individuals expect special treatment or benefits due to their identity rather than on the basis of merit or effort. When we have this dependency on external validations, when self-worth or validation depends on acknowledgement from others just because we're a certain race or gender, etc., or just because we're considered a marginalized group, it can create dependency rather than resilience. And it can undermine the importance of self-initiative, hard work, growing through tough times. And finally, I want to get to 3 points I have on a biblical Christian perspective. And I want to talk about accountability, dignity, and grace over victimhood and entitlement. Because from a Christian worldview, every individual is called to take responsibility for their actions. And while recognizing our inherent dignity, made in the image of God, being image bearers of God, we need to understand, number one, personal accountability before God and before others. For each one should carry their own load. We see Paul talking about this in Galatians, emphasizing that individuals are responsible for their actions and their choices. And in the Christian framework, we're called as believers to a high standard of personal accountability, recognizing that while hardships are real, God empowers us to rise above them with integrity and effort. Rather than fostering this victim mentality, Christians are encouraged to trust in God's strength to help overcome life's challenges. This perspective empowers all of us to focus on personal growth, resilience, hard work, and reliance on God, rather than becoming fixated on perceived marginalization and disadvantages. Number two, a value of diligence and hard work. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Colossians 3:23. This verse encourages a strong work ethic and diligence, underscoring that efforts should be directed towards glorifying God rather than simply seeking validation from others or compensation based off of our perceived victimhood. From a Christian framework, from a biblical framework, hard work, diligence, perseverance are cornerstone virtues. The Bible encourages believers to approach all endeavors with commitment, excellence, knowing that God honors and sees their work. This shift from focusing on our victimhood and entitlement to a selfless contribution to society, to others, working for the glory of God and effort, trusting in God for that recognition, ultimately will lead people to the opposite of what entitlement is. And that is gratitude. Finally, number three, identity and worth rooted in Christ, not victimhood. No, in all these things, we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. This perspective is so empowering because it reminds Christians that their ultimate worth, your ultimate identity, and your ultimate victory is as a conqueror in Christ, not as victims defined by worldly labels or circumstances. For Christians, true identity and worth are found in being children of God and conquerors in Christ, not being victims or beneficiaries with preferential treatment. With this mindset as a conqueror, believers can focus on the freedom, strength, and resilience that come from a relationship with Christ rather than feeling entitled or resentful towards others. And so I want to close with this. While DEI focuses on privileges versus the marginalized groups, and while it may aim to highlight injustices, it can often lead to victimhood, a entitlement mentality that really undermines personal responsibility and real hard work. You contrast that with the Christian faith, and that teaches individuals to be accountable for their actions. It teaches hard work, that hard work and diligence is a noble pursuit, and that our true identity is found in Christ rather than these worldly categories. And by embracing these biblical values, Christians can promote an attitude of resilience, of grace, of personal responsibility that builds stronger individuals in a more unified community in the societies that we live in. But what do you think? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for joining us. God bless you. Remember, you are more than conquerors in Christ. Have a great evening, have a great morning, have a great afternoon, wherever you guys are. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.